This video is intended as a quick guide to get started with TitanSDR. For a more complete description of possible settings and operation, please refer to the user manual. After running the TitanSDR application, click the USB button to start communication with the receiver. The button color changes to green and the 0 to 32 MHz spectrum appears on the panoramic scope. The graphical settings of the spectrum can be changed by the Spectrum Controls group of the panoramic scope toolbar. The first drop-down menu allows to choose among windowing alternatives. The second menu displays a list of averaging time periods that can be selected. We choose 0.8 seconds. Default zoom buttons allow to halve or double the frequency spectrum span, aiming at the frequency of the vertical white line. The front-end controls group allows to change settings of the receiver front-end. By the first drop-down menu, a specific preselect can be chosen from a list of 16 filters. By default, all pass is selected. By the second menu, RF attenuation can be set from 0 dB to 30 dB in steps of 10 dB. Default value is 0 dB. To allocate a new wideband channel, click first on the Add button of the wideband channels controls group to display the list of available bandwidth sizes. Then click on the wanted size. We choose the minimum size of 312 kHz. The new wideband channel is allocated at the left of the displayed spectrum and is represented by a colored shaded area. The wideband channel spectrum and waterfall appear in the wideband spectrum scope. Tuning of the wideband channel is obtained by dragging its shaded area. While dragging, the wideband channel center frequency is modified accordingly in the frequency edit box. Also, the wideband spectrum scope allows to set the averaging time period and to perform zoom and dezoom operations. To record a wideband channel, expand first the wideband scope toolbar by clicking on the expansion button. Then, to start recording, click the Start Recording button. Recordings can also be scheduled by clicking the Schedule button. All recordings are saved in the folder TitanSDR Archives within the folder Documents. Files names of wideband and narrowband recordings are assigned automatically and result from concatenation of various possible fields. These fields can be specified in the Output Files customization window, which appears by selecting option Output Files Name from the main toolbar. To replay wideband recordings, select Player in the Mode drop-down menu. We now zoom the wideband spectrum scope and adjust the displayed frequency interval by simply left-clicking and dragging of the frequency axis bar. We click the Add button to allocate a narrowband channel. The carrier frequency can be set by mouse dragging the yellow line to the wanted position and left-clicking. After clicking, the narrowband shaded area appears to the right of the yellow line, being USB the default mode. Its color is the same of its wideband channel. As a consequence of the same mouse click, the narrowband scope becomes ready to operate on the newly allocated narrowband channel, displaying its spectrum and waterfall with higher resolution than the wideband scope. In order to set another mode, it must be selected from the Modes drop-down menu of the narrowband scope. Tuning of a narrowband channel can be modified by left-clicking on its shaded area and dragging it to the wanted frequency. To start audio, click on the Speaker button. Audio mode can be mono, left, or right. To visualize the spectrum of the demodulated audio, select Audio by the corresponding drop-down menu. Also, the narrowband spectrum scope allows to set the averaging time period and to perform zoom and dezoom operations. Fine-tuning of the narrowband channel can be by dragging its shaded area, by turning of mouse wheel up or down after selection of a digit in the frequency edit box, by clicking the frequency shift buttons, or by editing the frequency directly. Channel bandwidth can be modified by selecting and dragging the shaded area edges, or by editing the frequency directly. In order to stream demodulated audio towards external software decoders, click the expansion button. Streaming can be by virtual audio cable or by LAN. Gain can be manual or automatic. To start recording of a WAV file with demodulated audio, click the Start Recording button. Recordings can also be scheduled by clicking the Schedule button. By clicking the Add button, the narrowband channel is added to the memory list to be easily recalled later if needed. To change the color palette of the wideband waterfall, select Palette Change in the wideband options list. TitanSDR provides a default set of 7 palettes. This set can be extended by the user with custom palette files. By choosing the custom palette setting, a colors map appears on the right of the wideband spectrum, showing what color is associated to what spectrum ordinate. Furthermore, horizontal yellow lines are drawn, which can be selected and adjusted by vertical dragging, marking the amplitude range between bottom and top palette colors. Note the Wick Signals palette setting that allows to automatically set the bottom color spectrum ordinate just above the noise floor to ease recognition of Wick signals. Note also that independent similar controls of the waterfall palette are available for the narrowband channels also. We now add a few other narrowband channels. By clicking Narrowband List on the main toolbar, a table appears summarizing the main settings for the allocated narrowband channels. Each line of the table refers to a specific narrowband channel. By selecting a line, the narrowband scope switches to the corresponding narrowband channel, showing its controls and its spectrum or waterfall displays. In order to add another wideband channel, click again the Add button of the panoramic scope. Note that having already allocated a wideband channel, some bandwidth sizes are no longer available. To select a specific wideband channel, click on its name in the first drop-down menu of the wideband channels controls group. As with the first wideband channel, we can add narrowband channels in this second wideband channel. We have allocated 4 wideband channels and 40 narrowband channels. Allocated narrowband channels are reported in the narrowband list. As you can see, some are being streamed to external decoders by virtual audio cable or LAN, and all are being recorded to WAV files. By clicking the USB button, the software disconnects from the receiver. All recordings are automatically stopped. To save the current session settings, click Yes on the message pop-up and edit the name of your session file. In order to restore a previous session, select Load Session from the File drop-down menu. In the Browse window that opens, browse to the session file to load and click Open. All wideband and narrowband channels are allocated again and tuned at their original frequencies. You yourself can evaluate TitanSDR at no cost by installing the demo version of software, which is available for download from our website www.enablia.com. The software will run without the receiver hardware. Visit also our download page to get all the relevant product documentation. For any additional information or just to provide your feedback, please send us an email at enablia@enablia.com. Many thanks for watching this video.